Hello, welcome back to the English Open final from Brentwood. A 37th ranking final for Neal Robertson, a first for Yize, and certainly earlier this afternoon, experience was key, as it was the Aussie who raced away to a 7-1 lead. He needs 2 more tonight for the title, and this, the Steve Davis Trophy.
What a start. Neal Robertson will be delighted with that. He's already made his presence felt. Yize suffered a very unfortunate in-off. Neal Robertson did the rest. After the outsider missed the red to middle, there was nothing Wu could do.
Wow, again.
Neal Robertson out of the blue, misses the blue, and now Mr. Wu Senior, as he smiled back.
Cue balls close to the pocket, and what is he doing near there?
Terrific turn. The lefty from Melbourne, tightening his grip. Total clearance, and one has to say, total command.
A packed house at the Brentwood Centre, hoping for a whole load of snooker. How many frames will we have, and what can Yize produce to get back into this final? Neal Robertson 7, Yize 1, and of course all playing for the Steve Davis Trophy. It's been a brilliant week so far in Essex, and there it is. And a very, very popular player, Steve Davis, an absolute legend around these woods. And delighted to be joined by Joe Perry and Jimmy White. And Jimmy, we were just chatting about Neal Robertson over the last few minutes, and just in such a powerful position in this final.
Yeah, he's played very solid. There'd been a couple of mistakes from Yize, and Neal's been straight all over it, punished him, you know, kept him cold, and you know, towards the end there, 2 back-to-back centres of total clearance, showing us the other part of his game, that his touch and feel is there as well.
We'll have Alan McManus along the way shortly for some analysis, but great to have Joe Perry with us, of course, in the corner of Neal Robertson. How was he feeling after that first session? Surely on top of the world.
Yeah, he's delighted. You know, he's keeping it down like he always does. He never gets too excited, but I know inside he'll be chuffed. It's been for Neal. It's been a long time coming. You know, it's normally in that winner's circle regular, so it's been quite a while for Neal. But he's pretty cool out there. And
how challenging has it been for you to see him in that position as such a wonderful player?
Yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed the journey, you know, because he was pretty down. It was probably as low in confidence as I've ever seen him since he first come over in 2004. So it was a bit of a rebuild needed, but it wasn't hard. You know, he's such a great player. His game was always there. It was just about putting a few things together with him and just rebuilding the confidence.
It's been, you know, talked about for the last 2 or 3 seasons that you might work with him. Is it official now? Are you going to be the whole season with him?
Yeah, no, we had a chat just before Christmas, just before he went back home to Australia for a month, and we said, like, when he comes back, we'll just try and do things more officially. And since the Masters early part of this year, we've sort of been working together, and now it's, you know, we're really starting to see the benefits now and the rewards.
And I'm sure a lot of snooker fans and sports fans will wonder, well, why Joe Perry? And it's quite an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Because we've so many snooker coaches, whether it's technical, mental, you know, and what you can produce is experience out there. And I remember Judd Trump saying, if I was ever to have anyone help me with my game, they have got to be one that has gone through the trenches and knows exactly what it's all about.
Yeah, I think, well, I've done that. You know, I've played in finals myself, been in the top 16 and whatever, but more than that, like when Neal come over, very raw, young kid, I was the resident pro at Cambridge, where he sort of set up base, and I've known him, been with him since 2004, basically, from being just a real good potter to what he's become now. So more than just a coach or whatever, we're friends, and he trusts me. I think that's the most important part. He trusts me. He trusts what I say to him. He knows I'm saying it for the right reasons, and it just seems to work.
And I was saying to you as well, you got to keep him on the straight road. I said, and keep his fuel tank topped up.
Yeah, no, sorting his game out's easy. It's sorting his personal life out's the hard bit.
Listen, you're doing a grand job. We'll let you get on and get back to Neal. And of course, what a power-packed performance it was, and how significant those first 4 frames were early this afternoon. Let's get over to the touch screen and rejoin Alan.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. As we know, the first 4 frames of any big final are so important, and I thought more so today, Neal being the big favourite. Let's have a look at some of the early runnings. We've spoken all week long, haven't we, about Neal's changes in his game. I think I spotted a couple. Let's just pause it here. He has a red into the yellow pocket, the far left as we call it. I want to put up a couple of lines. Now, under normal circumstances, I think he'd be playing something like that for yellow or brown to the same pocket. But what he does, he plays the cue ball off of here and he drags it over to the left half of the table. It's clever for the reason that he covers the one that's in the middle of the table. There's a tempter here for Yize down the left half. If he misses the red, he makes the pot a little more difficult. But I think in the back of his mind, because he's playing with a little bit of cover on the shot, it gives him that little bit comfort in being able to pot the ball itself. So in it goes, and he wins frame one. Then here's another change. We'll pause it here. He'd normally, under most circumstances, off the pack, 3 cushions up into bulk. But he spoke to me earlier in the week. He said, I don't want to push reds over the right half of the table and maybe one over the pocket. So he plays a bit of a nothing shot, in all honesty, just pushing the red on the right, just down to meet the rest of them. Quite an innocent looking shot. That's not really key. We'll just drag it on. He's got something similar here where he can play off the pack, but he doesn't want to do it. So what does he do? He decides to play another nothing shot, which is not something you'd be saying about Neal Robertson very often. The re-rack comes then, and then when we get to the actual second frame, Wu gets his chance. Now, just cast your eyes on the blue there. It's tied up, and I think that's why he injects a little more pace into this cue ball. Let's play the shot on. You'll see the pace on it, and hence he loses control. It flicks a red on the way up. We'll see it here. Just there, and it sends it with even more pace into the top right pocket. Neal does the rest. So a little bit unlucky there for sure with Yize. But then the next frame, he gets a golden chance. He pots a lovely red, a lovely blue to get this going, and he misses this red. That was the key, I think, to, on his side of the fence, Yize. He had to cut out the basic mistakes if he was going to make inroads in this final. So I think the changes by Neal are very, very good. They've clearly worked. And Yize has just missed the boat in those first 4 frames. And that's why Neal Robertson has a cast iron grip on the Steve Davis Trophy.
Thank you so much, Alan. And we know one thing, and we certainly saw it in the next 4 frames as well. He was not taking his foot off the gas in any way.
No, not at all. He didn't want Wu to settle. You know, 4-0 down. He had a few chances, missed 2 or 3 easy balls in the middle pocket that cost him. Maybe a bit of experience, a bit of nerves for the final, but Neal Robertson was never going to let him settle. Once he got in front, he was always going to keep his foot on the gas. Indeed, and let's take a look then at a couple of those moments in frame 7. Yeah, this is a very easy red. He's on 22. He really hits it hard. OK, he's 5-1 down. You know, not had a lot of table time. Neal Robertson here plays a fantastic positional shot. Once he gets the balls in the ideal position where he wants them, he goes on to make a century break, doesn't put a foot wrong. Here, he's just potting the red to make sure that the frame is won completely, goes on to finish with a nice century.
Indeed, and the damage was done certainly in those first 4 frames, but we spoke about a little bit earlier about that performance of the European Master against Zhou Yulong. He's going to show no mercy this evening.
No, not at all. These top players in any sport, you know, any winners, they make sure that they, you know, once they've got their opponent struggling, they keep them there. This was a nice positional shot. Not only has he been working with Zhou on obviously his safety play and his tactical side of it, he's obviously been doing his normal routines of potting and break building, and it showed towards the end of that session how well he's hitting the ball. And looking behind us to all these great fans in Essex, I'm sure they all want a load of snooker tonight, Jimmy. Yes, I am. You know, it's a... You know, the match is more or less done because Neal Robertson is too good, but hopefully Yize can show the quality he's got and show this crowd how good he is. Well, right now, Neal Robertson very much looking like the comeback king in Brentwood, and it will be very poignant, very important for him and the next step in his career and also his season after a string of very disappointing performances.
Would you believe he can miss a red like that?
Neal Robertson's troublesome season continues. His snooker year is over without a title for the first time since 2006.
The class will still be there, but the form has disappeared, and it's a concern.
That
was a big mistake, though.
I'm afraid for Neal Robertson, it's also an exit. He came here to the Masters hoping to turn a very disappointing season around, but he ran into Barry Hawkins.
I do feel a bit sorry for Neal Robertson. He'll be back next season, bigger and better, no doubt.
Once I experienced the worst of all the things that could have happened, i.e., not qualifying for the Crucible for the first time in 20 years. So once I experienced all of that, it was like, it's actually not as bad as what I was dreading. Life goes on.
Robertson reserving his best break for last. He defeats Sean Murphy by 4 frames to 1.
He's seen a pot. He's seen a pot. And what a shot it was.
Going into it this season was just a complete reset. Just forget all the bad things. Career 2.0 starts now, and that's what it's been.
It's been a really good night for Neal Robertson. He's into the final to complete his revitalisation and his return to snooker's top table.
Snooker's top table, and that's very much where he has been dining for many, many years, and certainly where he belongs. I find it quite fascinating, Alan, you've rejoined us, and just in terms of his mentality, Neal Robertson, and I find it very similar to when a player drops off the tour. Life goes on, but you also get this really significant reset.
Yeah, it gives you perspective, not just as a person, but as a snooker player, more importantly, on occasions like this. But the differences in his game, I'm sure everyone was watching the big fight last night, the boxing. You've still got to pack a punch, but be steadfast in your defence. And as we kind of hinted there on touchscreen, that's the difference of Neal Robertson, certainly this week. And it's something that I think with Joe in his corner as his wingman, he's going to utilise for the rest of this season and going forward.
We've always talked, ever since Neal Robertson has become a winner and winning titles, we've always spoke about what a fantastic cue action he has, probably one of the best in the game. So his technique, Joe doesn't have to work on that. He's just made him sort of be tactically more strong, and he's enjoying that side of it. And, he's scoring well as well. So, I think he's going to have a really good season.
Yeah, and I think it's important. And sometimes looking at other players on the tour, it's a lot about having company. And you've got a lot of time on your own as a snooker player. And I did ask Joe, just off camera actually, do you get involved in the technical side? Is it like mind? Is it what? It feels like they're such good pals, and they're both in the same position as professionals.
Yeah, it's a bit like myself with John Higgins in some way. I would never down the decades actually ever say to John, I think you're doing this, that or the other, because technically he's as good as it gets, and Neal obviously is of a similar ilk. So you would never want to change anything on that score, and Joe's smart enough to know that. He just wants to point him in the 1 or 2 directions here and there, and once it sinks in and once you experiment with it in match table and it works, you think, oh, okay, it opens your eyes and opens your mind up to a whole new world almost.
I think we always have to be careful because he's not over the line just yet, and who knows what Yize can produce tonight. And in terms of Neal, and we talk about this comeback, and he's saying himself, reformed player. Do you think that many people ever doubted that it would take him so long to lift a trophy?
Well, no, because he's that good. How many times has going into the World Championships he's won 3 or 4 tournaments prior, been favourite, and then fell at the first hurdle. I think now he's going to be more of a complete player. He was too good not to win trophies.
Indeed, and of course he had that amazing run, winning a tournament every single year, every season since 2006. Of course, that halted when he won the 2022 Masters at Ali Pali. He's back, and he's 2 frames away. We'll be focusing on Yize and what he can bring to Brentwood this evening. Snooker season in full swing as we enjoy the English Open final tonight in Brentwood, and what an occasion it was in Saudi Arabia where Judd Trump became champion.
And that trophy is what it is all about, £500,000 and a place in history.
The 9 days here in Saudi Arabia have come down to this final mini session. 2 great players, Judd Trump and Mark Williams. Strap yourselves in. Quite simply superb. A 138. clearance from Mark Williams. He moves within one of victory here in Riyadh. A valuable 90 from Judd Trump. We're going all the way in the first ever Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters final. These two great left-handers putting on a show. Great spirit, great atmosphere, and who's going to prevail? And there's another big shot from Mark Williams. First chance then, the Welshman.
Hold on to your hats for this one. What an effort that is from Mark Williams.
Brilliant shot. Still going to have to do a bit more work yet, but he's building a nice lead. Oh, the red and the colour. This goes in. No, not there, and not over.
So is there going to be one final twist in this match? Oh, what a pot that is, Judd Trump.
He has a chance to get back into this frame. Oh, are we going to go right down to the wire?
What a fighter.
Good grief, the whole tournament is coming down right to the last few balls.
What a gamble that was. How must he be feeling? What an unbelievable ending we have got. He's got the 6 remaining colours for the title.
Everyone nervous, everyone on the edge of their seats. This whole tournament is coming down to the black. This extraordinary champion has the black for victory. What a break to win it. Judd Trump rules in Riyadh. He wins the first staging of the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters, beating Mark Williams 10-9 on the black in an absolute thriller. 500,000 reasons to be happy.
Neal Robertson out of the blue, misses the blue. And now Mr. Will Senior as he smiled back. Terrific turn. The lefty from Melbourne tightening his grip. Total clearance and one has to say total command.
Welcome back. Well, we're hearing roars of "Come on, Ronnie" here in Essex, but the Rocket is not here this evening. It is, of course, Neal Robertson with one hand on the Steve Davis Trophy. Let's talk a little bit about Wu. Obviously, his dad is here, and he's hoping and praying that we can see the real Wu.
Let's just hope he puts on a show tonight. I'm sure he will. You know, he wants to come out and show what he can do in front. He'll never have played in front of a crowd or indeed this atmosphere before, so he wants to show them what he could do. We didn't see the real Wu Yize this afternoon, but let's hope he can show us tonight.
Will the real Wu Yize stand up?
Well, listen, it's his first final. You know, it's a learning curve for him, but make no mistake, you know, he is a snooker superstar in the making, and he will be back and he will win tournaments. Don't think this one, though, I'm afraid.
Alrighty, and I have to just give a word for the family and the parents. We've mentioned Wu Jae-pan, and of course Ian, Neal's dad, who's going to be in the crowd, his son Alexander, all the family, and Ian has never ever saw his son all the titles, all the trophies. He's never seen him do it.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? 14 years ago, his mum came over to Sheffield after, I think, during the semi-final. Neal's mum, that was, and she made it for the final, and that was a sweet moment. But this will be very sweet, Jimmy, won't it?
Yeah,
for Ian.
Absolutely. You know, as you said, 20 years since he's been here, obviously. But with Neal, he'll just be focused on getting them first 2 frames. He won't be thinking about that.
Not at all, and we have had a great afternoon of snooker. Of course, it has been one-way traffic, but tonight it's a new night and it's time to get the action underway. Let's join our MC, Rob Walker.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the climax of 11 days of action here in Essex, and after more than 100 matches, at last it is time to crown the 2024 Bet Victor English Open champion. History beckons here in Brentwood. Please welcome a player who has produced a brilliant run to a maiden ranking final. A hugely talented 20-year-old. He's lean, keen and ready to roll. Yize! And now to a player closing in on a 24th ranking title and what would be his first for more than 2 years. He's back to his best and back in the big time. Can you hear the thunder from down under? He's Neal Robertson.
Well, tonight marks the official end of summer. Does it also mark the rebirth of Neal Robertson? It's been 2.5 years since he last won a ranking title. He was so used to trophies, wasn't he? Right from 2006 until 2022. Didn't win one last year, but he's just 2 frames away here this evening from picking up this English Open Steve Davis trophy. He exploited Yize's many errors this afternoon. Wu appearing in his first final, I think it did show at times, but Robertson finished off very strongly, back-to-back centuries, to leave himself in a commanding 7-1 advantage. It feels like a coronation. We'll see. I've seen turnarounds before. It's going to have to start right from this frame, though. The final of the Bet Victor English Open resumes with Neal Robertson leading 7-1. And he's just preparing himself for what he hopes will be a short evening.
You make sure it's switched off, please, yeah? That's okay.
Everyone's settling down. We'll see how many frames we get. Yize is hoping to mock some sort of...
Just go for it. No, I get it.
Stage some sort of recovery here. The lady there just trying to turn her phone off.
Brilliant.
I think we are ready.
It's fine, yeah?
I think we are ready.
Thank you. It's frame 9 now. Neal Robertson to break.
So Neal Robertson leads Yize 7-1. He was dominant this afternoon. There were chances, a lot of chances for Wu. He'd be disappointed, of course, with the errors. That's in the past. Maybe he can just relax a little bit now, play some of the snooker that's got him this far, because he's been terrific the whole tournament. Of course, he's beaten Bingham, Carter, Judd Trump as well, amongst others. Maybe the occasion just got to him a little earlier, but here we are. Let's see if he can start knocking them in from the off and just try and take it frame by frame, put a bit of pressure on maybe.
One.
That's a great start.
Indeed, the crowd will get behind him tonight, because they obviously would like to see more snooker, and it could have been a lot closer this afternoon session. Could have been a 5-3 in favour of Neal Robertson. That wouldn't have been entirely unjust. He's got so much talent. But he did miss a number of easy balls, especially to middle pockets, strangely. But you see him play shots like this and you realise what a gifted player he is, 20 years of age. But it was all a little bit like he was in new territory, and he never really settled, quite honestly, this afternoon. I mean, he likes to go into the bunch hard, and that was one of the problems earlier. He was quite unlucky. He played a shot not dissimilar to that, and cue ball just hit a couple of balls on the way through and went in off into the top right, the green pocket. Unfortunately now, this blue is going to have to go in. Seems to me those mid-range shots with his hand on the table, he seems never to miss one. So when he's on the cushion like this shot,
15.
one or two other things that have gone wrong, awkward cueing, that's when he struggled. Certain parts of his game are particularly strong.
Well, I saw Sean Murphy on social media. He went to see the Back to the Future musical last night. I think Yize would like to go back to 1 o'clock this afternoon and start the match like this.
Yeah, he's not on one particularly nicely here. Thinnish red to left corner. Like to have been a lot straighter on it, or he might have played on the one directly above the black.
$19. $24. 25.
Of course, these finals, it's one match, but it is split into sessions, and there's been 2 hours since the last one.
32.
I think had they stayed out there, it would have been 9-1, 9-2, but I guess if he doesn't miss all night, he could still turn it round.
33.
Well, we talk about a 3-1 lead in the mini session, but it really, even that won't be enough. He's got to win all of these first 4 frames, and then he has some sort of a chance then. Anything else, probably not. But he can't have started any better. He's
40.
Knocked in a great long red. He's played 2 or 3 thunderous shots through the bunch. Just reminding everyone why he's here, I suppose.
41. $48. 49.
I mentioned it before this week, but his very long backswing and that cue come through quite delightfully through the ball, as if the cue ball isn't there, he's just playing right through it. So there's a lot of good things mechanically in the way he hits the ball. The rest of it just growing into being a leading professional, which I think he will end up being. It's a nice cue action. Long backswing.
55.
Once or twice, I think today maybe that long backswing meant that he didn't actually hit centre of the cue ball when he meant to. Put unwanted side on a couple of times earlier. Threw everything offline. probably due to nerves.
Well, this is his first half century. His highest break this afternoon, 48. So now, just looking to kill this frame off. He's clearly decided, you can understand it, he's going to have a go. See what happens tonight.
Yeah, I think he'd like to play on the bottom red into the left corner, but the two reds on the side cushion are in the way of swinging it round. Yeah, that isn't the worst outcome, given that he didn't play that shot well. He didn't mean to go into that red. Still 75 points on, so he has to be careful. Needs another red, and it's the perfect evening start.
So this is frame ball.
66.
Well, if only snooker was that simple. Knock in a long red, make a frame-winning break. He really loved to have done that earlier. But what a great start and great resolve from Yize here. And just underlining what a terrific player he really is. I'm sure there'll be people here, they may have bought the tickets last year, you know, at last year's event. They want to see some sort of contest here.
$75.
Interesting shot selection, playing the yellow with the rest rather than the green. He must feel there's absolutely no way getting from green to red. Otherwise he wouldn't be playing this shot with the rest otherwise. He's taking the cue ball down the right side of the table. It's running a bit out of position. Whatever happens now in this break, doesn't matter. It'd be nice if he could get a century. But it is a terrific start, however it ends. It's not over yet, though. And that's well played. And here's the shot. If the red doesn't go anywhere, the one by the pink. Could pop this red down the cushion, flick into the pink, hoping to disturb the red and be on something, and then the century would be on if you could achieve that. Well, maybe the red pops somewhere. It goes up into the top left, but maybe perhaps left middle as well. Got to be honest, he's missed a lot of balls into that left middle. Quite easy reds today.
93.
Hopefully this will not be another one.
94.
Well, how about this? A nightmare afternoon, but a dream start to the evening. This pink for a century for Yize. Terrific. If he can just do that another 7 times, he could still win this final. He's still a long way back, but this has been a great effort from him.
Yeah, I mean, where he is dangerous is that when he does go into the reds, you know, it put the fear into anybody, I think, because he opens up everything. He got unlucky earlier with that in off, but the reds are not going to stay in the bunch. If he decides to split them, they're going to be all over the table, and that can be
114.
A very dangerous opponent.
120.
So first shot, long red, and he's not faulted. Yize, with a scintillating century, wins the first frame of the night. Neal Robertson sees his lead cut to 7-2. Well, it was all sort of good fun before it started, wasn't it? But then the serious business began immediately. This was the first shot for Yize. In it went.
Yeah, what a start. What a start. And there's my take on how he goes into the bunch now. That cue ball is fizzing around all over the place. And here again, he's absolutely pile driving that cue ball, attacking the reds like nobody else does, I would say. And it can go one way or the other. This was a lovely recovery shot. Doesn't seem to miss anything when his hand on the table at that sort of middle range.
19.
So, while the cue ball did the rounds there during that break, I mean, here he lost control of it and just nudged to red. He always seemed to have the answers. The fact that he can pot in the way that he does helps. So there was the century, and the crowd loved it. And he went on to take the whole lot. And he's gone out to the bathroom already. I mean, he had a miserable afternoon, but I'm sure that has cheered him up no end.
Well, these are the stats. I mean, the pot success at nearly 90%. Neal Robertson, though, very good, of course, at 94. Safety, actually, there was a frame where, of course, he was laying all those snookers earlier. Safety was pretty good in that frame, but the high break has been massively improved. Neal Robertson just broke off, though. That's all he did. I mean, if this is going to turn round, and it's a massive if, it's not only that Yize will have to play like that all night. Neal Robertson would have to start to make serious mistakes, and there's not really been, apart from the one frame he lost, actually, frame 5, there's not really been any sign of that. He's a very accomplished winner. He's won 23 ranking titles, so he knows how to close these matches out. But even so, he'll have noted a vast improvement there in his opponent's performance. Playing for the Steve Davis Trophy. Neal Robertson's still a big favourite to get his hands on it later, but Yize getting good support from this crowd. As I say, they'd love to see a contest, and he started the night with that 127 total clearance.
Yize to break.
So this is actually the first match of the whole tournament where Neal Robertson has lost more than one frame. All the others he lost, or he won rather, for the loss of just a frame. Tour Championship in April 2022 was Robertson's last success in a ranking tournament, and this is actually his first final since then, so it has been a difficult time. Of course, if you're not getting the results and you've done well on the 2-year system, points come off. That's why he dropped out the top 16. If he wins tonight, they'll be back in.
Can play the cue ball over in behind the yellow here with that red in front of it. It's not a problem. Can't get to leave the red on. Robertson will be aware of how well that break was made, and not to leave him with his hand on the table, as I say, where he's absolutely lethal. Yize. I know he's got to concentrate on his own game, but he's got to make sure that safety is tight, that he plays when he plays it. very often difficult for a player in their first ranking final. I mean, we know he's talented, but there was no reason to think that he was going to be, in this final necessarily, because he's not used to being here. It's his first one, so it often means that unless you're an absolutely incredible talent, like a Stephen Hendry or Ronnie O'Sullivan, your first final, it can be a little daunting, and that's what this afternoon session was like for him.
Yeah, we've seen it in recent times, haven't we, in the home nations? Joe O'Connor, Nopin Senkar, Martin O'Donnell. Funnily enough, they all lost to Gary Wilson. But Chris Wakeling last year against Judd Trump in Belfast.
Yeah, and people always say, well, that's it, you've had the experience, your next final will be a different story, but there's no guarantees that some of the players that have made finals will ever be in another one. It's not as simple as that. And you could see from a very early stage that was going in. And obviously the red isn't up there as it was earlier in the frame, so that would have been easy with ball in hand, but it might be of little consequence, the 4 points, with no obvious red to play next. It's a nice safety shot, that was. An attempt to block the right side of the table, although he hasn't stopped the thin edges on that right side from being hit by Robertson here in safety. Well, it's not really helping either player when the blue gets taken away from his spot like that on a safety shot. Very good. Robertson's plan would be to keep Yize down there in the long grass for the duration of the evening, I think. slow start to the frame. Been playing about 8.5 minutes and nothing potted. Just those 4 penalty points.
Yeah, just while we watch this exchange, congratulations to Dylan Emery, young Welsh player who's won the second Q Tour event of the season out of Bulgaria. That's a qualifying tour to get back on the pro circuit. Dylan, he's actually the #1 top-up from the Q School, so he does actually get to play in a lot of the ranking events, but he's not actually on tour. He dropped off, but taking a big step towards getting back on. Of course, Neal Robertson was relegated twice when he was very young, 16, his first term pro, got back on, was relegated then on his 20th birthday. Not a lot of fun, but came back on in 2003. Been there ever since, of course.
Foul numbers. Yize 4. Back.
Going back, yeah, if you go back to that era, there was a few things that were different and not in the favour of players. Obviously, Neal Robertson, as an Australian, had to base himself in the UK in the early days. There was still, I'm pretty sure there were still entry fees then. You had to enter and pay money for tournaments. There was no concessions for the first £20,000 as there is now that you earn. It was quite a hard road to be on in the earlier days.
Yeah, and it wasn't a 2-year card either, was it? So, you could drop off after a year. They're just checking they've got the white in the right spot here. Marcel Eckardt, the referee.
Posters. Yeah. Thanks.
And once again, slight error. It's not terrible. I suppose he could have a go at a red, but he seems to have a more cautious approach, not taking on poor percentage shots. I don't really notice much else different about his game in the last year, 18 months, when, of course, he's been struggling. Looks like he's playing out of a snooker here, even though he can see a number of reds. It's a very difficult shot to be playing, actually. I mean, he's trying to hit the top side of that red and send the cue ball back into bulk and the red down towards the other reds. But, as I say, he had many reds that he could hit directly.
So the 8 points, of course, from Foulds, so this now just under 14 minutes, nothing potted.
Yes, and Robertson's potted nothing tonight because clearly in that first frame he didn't either, so playing about 25 minutes tonight. And Neal Robertson has drawn a blank so far, albeit, you know, he started with a very long lead of 7-1, so no need for him to in any way panic.
No, his discipline has been excellent throughout the tournament. He said he's been sort of looking at Judd Trump, the way he's developed his safety game, trying to take inspiration from the other players who've been doing well of late. Well, there's another 4 points.
Slightly unlucky there, I think, because you know he's trying to shape the cue ball around to hide it behind that blue ball. But still, nothing been potted.
John Durgo was commentating, he might have lost his voice by now. That cue ball's been so close to various pockets.
Well, I suppose if there's going to be any sort of comeback, he's going to need good things to happen to him this evening. And of course here is something very good. No way in the world he knew a great deal about it. He wouldn't deny him it, though. In a fairly torrid afternoon, all things considered.
Yize, 1.
Yize couldn't have played that last shot any better to get tight in behind the bolt colour in the way that he has. It means that Neal Robertson, yes, he's on the way to hitting a red. He's not really going a very direct route. You know, he's got to go twice across. Can't even go the one cushion route into them. It's a good shot, though. Goodness, that is. Very good. Well, if he takes on this pink, he's quite difficult. A lot of the ingredients of shots he's missed are in it, playing from the cushion into that middle pocket, which has given him absolutely nightmares today. With easier pots than this, but you know, what do? You've got to try and put everything right. Not an easy shot at all, this.
Yize 1.
Never really threatened either. So Robertson quickly out of his chair. At last, something has come his way. Best part of half an hour of playing time tonight. He hasn't potted a single ball, the Australian.
Well, black completely out of commission, and try and get the bigger colours back into play here.
1.
There's the total playing time, 3.5 hours. We had a couple of long frames this afternoon, some quick ones as well. You get all sorts, of course, in these finals. This already feels like quite a big shot on this green. Trying to get going again after the break between sessions. And it's not there.
Neal Robertson 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of shot that if you're in any kind of stroke, you would fancy getting. I think the green seems to have come round and covered everything up. It looks to be at least 2 reds available, but the green goes into them, and you saw Neal pat the table slightly sheepishly. He realised he's got away with one there. This is good. Didn't know what to do. He's pushed the red possible, but unless he can hold it, cue ball is drifting down the table. Might just be able to play it gently and hold for the pink to the top right pocket.
1. Seven. Eight.
Overdid it slightly. He didn't have a huge margin for error because he's coming back across the line of which the pink is on. You're not coming in behind it, you're going across it, so you have to hit it perfectly, pace-wise.
with 8.
Yeah, slight bow of the head, not his best safety.
One. Four.
Yeah, I think the red through the middle is the one up the table. Playing it into the middle, not the end.
Neal Robertson 5.
There was no reaction to not landing on one of the 4 colours in that area, just played the snooker.
I think the target red likely to be the red just to the right of the black, right down the table here, twice across. Trying to do little damage by laying up to that one. Cue ball's got to go a long way to reach it though. It's not online, I'm afraid. And he's left the other red.
Neal Robertson 4.
It was not an easy shot, but he was quite a long way off.
Of course.
Okay, well, it's going back. I don't think he's going to get an easier chance than that. Even if Yize misses again, he'd never be on that red any better. So it looks like Neal Robertson just trying to collect some points. In the end, Yize, if he keeps going this way, will hit it, I suppose.
Foul in the miss, Neal Robertson 4.
You're joking. How has that missed? I mean, he's done everything but hit it. It could only have been a fraction of a millimetre short, I think. I expected him to say nothing, the referee. I assumed he'd just hit it.
Foul in the miss, Neal Robertson 4.
Once again, he's got this shot at the red. It's not a lot different to the one he refused. Very powerfully played there and accurately. Choice of a number of colours here. I mean, he keeps looking down at the pink, which would be quite an adventurous shot. So it's going to try and force the green in. It's a missable one, this. Played with pace. Very nicely struck.
4. Five.
Yeah, so half an hour frame, but Neal Robertson is in no rush. His focus has been excellent the whole tournament. We've seen it again here, that determination. And of course, it's been present off table as well. The work he's done. We saw Joe Perry at the start. He's been a help. In the span of his career, 2 years without a title is not actually that long. But of course, it's been difficult, certainly last year when he missed out on various events, including, of course, playing at the Crucible.
12.
It's one thing to have to qualify for the Crucible, but then in qualification not make it would be quite painful. He explained in the interview that, you know, it was bad, but you just get through it. I think worse things can happen, of course, considerably worse. But it is still a bit of a shock after all those years to miss out.
But if he does win tonight, he'll be in the Champion of Champions, Players Series, certainly the first couple of those events, top 16 if he can bed himself in there again, the Masters, all of that will follow. And that is all in the background if he can win this frame and one more.
$26.
Son Alexander in the middle there. He's been here for a few days, hoping to be part of the celebrations later. Robertson needs 2 reds here, just checking the scores, 28 in front.
32.
It's been a hard-earned frame if he wins it. A lot of safety, a lot of patience needed.
33.
He makes a lot of big breaks. He had a couple of back-to-back hundreds earlier. But this has been a different frame, albeit one equally as important. Yize made a great start, but he's been stopped in his tracks this frame. Easier shot for a left-hander than otherwise. Just absolutely making sure of the red, and now, as you say, he's at the point where Yize needs a snooker. Could drop in behind the black, I suppose, to keep things even tighter.
This is where those foul points have come in handy. You know, the 3 times that Yize missed when he was trying to just play it up to the red by the black have made a difference.
blue ball. Neal Robertson. 40.
Well, he tried to keep things tight and maybe get the snooker, but he hasn't achieved it. He's only won snookers. Not done yet. It might be now.
Foul, Neal Robertson. 5. And a free ball.
Yeah, too much going on now. Difference of 41. Free ball has been awarded by referee Marcel Eckardt. Can't roll behind. Can't take the blue as a free ball and then roll behind it. That's one thing that would be a foul. But he can use the blue and then snooker behind green and brown, which he might do now after he's potted the blue as a red. Either way, the frame is looking more and more like it's going to be his.
Yes, the break was only 40, but it was arguably the most valuable he's made all day.
Yeah, I mean, look, he could lead the snooker, but it looks like he's trying to leave it absolute fiendish snooker, even though he's so far in front. Putting the green safe, so he's...
Neal Robertson. 1.
He's taking no chances here, is he? The old sand and cement treatment he's giving it.
Yeah, he needs two himself, Yize. Oh, nice kiss. Nice kiss.
I mean, it may not look too bad a table for getting snookers, but it's not really. Well, I don't know how you get these here. Even if he does, it's the black and the red. The 8 points he needs there are not easy either, so... Got a snooker or two, it's going to be very difficult to claw back these points, though. From the snooker nearly. It's one of these frames you just want to win, and it's not really any fireworks in it. Easy swerve. Robertson would not mind leaving the red for Yize to pot, because clearly Yize wants it on the table so he can get a possible free ball. Neal Robertson can roll this red over to one of the pockets and invite him to pot it. Just like that, really. If Yize pots this red, Robertson is an even stronger favourite to win the frame. It's just the colours left.
One.
Well, that's it now, he concedes. So a 40-minute frame. It was an excellent 40 break from Neal Robertson. Just holding off any potential recovery. He's one away, leading 8-2. Now, last year, of course, it was all about Judd Trump and Zhang Anda here.
And after 7 great days of snooker, we're down to the title match. Are we going to be celebrating a brand new ranking event winner in Zhang Anda, or is Judd Trump going to further embellish his already formidable CV? A 34-minute opening frame, but it's the underdog who strikes first. The former English Open champion will be feeling a good deal better. An early frame on the board. That's not going to do Judd Trump's confidence much good. Another cool, calm and collective performance from the final debutant, Zhang Anda, who leads 3-1. But Zhang Anda has designs on a healthy lead. What a performance this is, a 1-2-8 clearance from Zhang as he extends his lead over Judd Trump. Well, this is becoming a chronic problem for Judd Trump. Zhang Anda is in dreamland in Brentwood. Judd Trump is in trouble, 5 frames to 1. Been mainly Zhang Anda's afternoon, but Judd Trump has joined the party in the nick of time. He trails 5-3.
9-8 will do fine. It follows the 109, so Zhang Anda is now just 2 away from what would be a huge shock here.
Let's play that as a split and a half. Didn't have to go into them there.
It's a total clearance of 135. What a break from Judd Trump to keep this final alive. The final is now best of 3. Trump has found a way back, like the great champions do. He's got to be the favourite, clearly. The unexpected can occur, and Zhang Anda will be hoping that happens now, because he's the man under pressure. 8-7 down, Judd Trump 1 away from becoming English Open champion. Breakoff's not good. It's not good. Judd Trump, there's no doubt, is a great player, and once again today he's proved he's a great competitor and a great champion. He was 7-3 down. He was being completely outplayed by Zhang Anda, but he found a way back into it, and you can see that is such a satisfying victory. He's the English Open champion. Neal Robertson 1 frame away from picking up the Steve Davis Trophy. I just want to mention one other person here, John Higgins, who joined the top 16. That's the elite group in snooker on May the 1st, 1995, and he has been there ever since. 10,738 days, has not dropped out. If Neal Robertson wins tonight, he will do. He's been there under 9 prime ministers. It's been an incredible achievement. Of course, he can get back in. There's another ranking event starting tomorrow. But Robertson will end that extraordinary spell of nearly 3 decades if he does win 1 more frame. It was so long ago, you know, that John got in the top 16. It was the day after Oasis got to #1 for the first time, which some might say. But it seems, in terms of Robertson winning this, it's more definitely than maybe.
And that's kind of a rare mistake that Robertson has made, and a gift, really, this. Not the kind of mistake he would make all that often.
One
forced error. There, if he can just land the cue ball on a red, preferably one of the couple of reds close to the black, it could get him started again. Yeah, that's good. He's not queuing over the top of the ball. He's got easy access to this red.
Seven.
So if he's going to play one of these swashbuckling attempts to open the reds at any point soon, don't think he'll do it here. But when he hits them, goodness, they stay hit.
14.
This could be it. Well, again, options if he doesn't want to go into them, but the angle he's got makes me think it's not impossible he will. Playing a delicate one. In fact, that's a beautiful shot. Better option than the opening of the bunch.
22. $23.
For once, the Reds stick together somewhat. I don't know if he's got
30.
A thin cut to one to the left corner, but not a great deal moved this time. Maybe a red to middle, in fact. That must be tight. That's a real shame. That's a real shame. He just came slightly awkwardly.
30.
There was some promise in that chance, but this red is a tricky little shot to be playing. Robertson now looking for difficult places on the table at the bulk end so he can land the cue ball there. Seems to have picked an area that he will try and put Yize in. I'm not sure he feels he can play an easy safety shot. He might be having a dart at this. It's very difficult.
One.
Oh, what an absolutely crunching pot that was.
Green ball.
The noise it made. Smack in the middle of the pocket. That's two big shots in a row. It's good to have that in your armoury, isn't it? You know, he couldn't see a safety shot, so what he decided to do was absolutely smash a long red in and then play a lovely controlled snooker. Two very different shots in a row. Of course, the problem is you want to try and target a red that's close to the cushion to just roll up to. And the one that's by the green is the only one that fits that bill, but I don't think he can get to it. So I don't know what the plan is, but coming at an angle, it's hard to think he'd be sure not to leave one on here. Well, he's got to hit it hard enough. That's never reaching.
Yize 4.
Took a long time over, it wasn't worth the wait.
One.
So Yize has already got a useful lead in this frame.
8.
As he looks to extend this final. Still all a learning experience, of course. He's still only 20. It's his birthday next month. Joined the tour just 3 years ago. He'll be in the top 32, no matter what, after tonight. It's quite significant, actually, because, for example, the Belfast event he wouldn't have to qualify for. He'd be playing at the venue.
$14. $15.
He doesn't roll balls in very much. In fact, sometimes when he does try to roll them, he misses them. But that punch that he adopts on these shots, the balls absolutely smack into the pockets when he hits them well. That's not bad. That's a nice little cannon. Might go left-handed on this. No, deciding to use the wrist. It's not been a spectacular frame, but it's been a really well played frame. The long ready absolutely drilled in is the reason he's got this chance next visitor to the table.
$30.
I mean, this is a thunderous pot, isn't it? Look at that. Didn't have anything else as a safety shot, nothing.
So needs red in the colour. There is a red save as well for a bit of insurance.
31.
So there's still the potential to take this to the interval. If he wins the next frame, he will do.
$38.
Yize is the 14th Chinese player to appear in a ranking final. 6 have been successful.
45. $46.
I mean, whatever happens, whether it goes to a mid-session interval or what, he's played a whole lot better tonight. You know, he's played
52.
Some really nice controlled snooker. Something that he just couldn't really get his head around earlier. He's a very aggressive player, but it's controlled aggression tonight. And the ball's all going into the middle of the pocket.
59. $60.
He might play the cannon here, but he's got to watch out he doesn't hit the knuckle of the middle pocket and not hit the red at all. Oh, he's played it well. Got some sort of a shot at the red.
57. $68.
Well, if he could take the blue, then there's just enough on for a century.
Of course, he started the night with that 127 total clearance.
$73. $75. $78. $82.
Blue, pink and black for his 5th century of the tournament.
87.
It's been an absolutely superb break, this.
Yeah, wonderful stuff.
Yize are not lying down. His 2nd century of the evening. Seriously impressive. A clearance of 100 exactly. He now trails here 8-3.
So it took a bit of time to get going, that frame, but when he did get that chance, he was already quite a few in front.
Yeah, he just used a lot of controlled aggression, as I said. I mean, this is because he had no shot, but how well has he played this? The red's gone in like a bullet, but the cue ball went round and he got really nice cover behind a bolt colour, so, you know, he put Neal Robertson in all sorts of trouble. Quite frankly, Robertson's escape wasn't great. You know, he looked at it for an eternity and he didn't get anywhere near the reds. So, I mean, while he was in trouble, that was not much of an attempt. But it was his last shot, so he had plenty of time to sit in his chair and think about it as Yize, and they got on the black early and then powered shots into the middle of the pockets all the way through that break. He can hit balls hard and maintain his accuracy. That's not easy to do. Because he's only 20 years of age, he's on the upgrade. And this has been a different story tonight. Yes, he's on the brink still of losing, you'd say, but you know, he's made 2 centuries tonight in the 3 frames played. So excellent stuff. This was not easy. When that went in, you really did think the century was there. Great stuff.
Yeah, wonderful. And this crowd at least are starting to get their money's worth tonight. I'm sure some of them will worry it might be over in about half an hour, but we could still go to the interval. There are the stats. Yize are now in the 90s in terms of pot success, helped by the 2 centuries he's had here this evening. Neal Robertson will just be looking now to get his chance to get it won. There is the lovely Steve Davis trophy named in honour of an all-time great of the game, of course hailed from these parts. Yize, he's not letting Neal Robertson get his hands on it yet. He's just made his 2nd century of the night, 8-3. If he can win this frame, we do go to an interval.
Definite miscue, which looked suspiciously like some sort of a containing shot. That's why he put his hand up, because he had no idea where the cue ball was going to go, how it was going to throw off the tip. But he's not gone too badly. Not a good shot. You're not unlucky to get the double kiss on those. If you think the double kiss is going to happen, it almost always will. It's one of the first real mistakes he's made tonight. It's always going to be tough to screw that in and finish this side of the baulk line. The angle was quite wide on the red. And what's he doing here? It looks like he's trying to cut this in. This is a big shot to play. Going in towards the reds. Very aggressive shot selection, this. And he deserves good things to happen for that, playing a shot as adventurous as that one. He's got that key ball moving around delightfully.
Yeah, he's clearly enjoying himself now, isn't he? He wasn't this afternoon.
13.
This time I expect him to really try and shift some reds. He might be playing through a smallish gap. Well, only just taking one out, that's even more controlled than we saw this afternoon when he once or twice sort of smashed the reds open. So there's a little bit more subtlety to how he's performing tonight. When he needs to play the big shots, he will. And this time he just gets a nice break. I think he deserved to be on that pink.
Well, great chance here to win another frame with a big break. His father's been, of course, very loyally watching on.
28.
It's already been quite a long journey from the junior days.
29.
Under 21 champion when he was just 14. There he is. Very proud of what he's watching.
Yes, I mean, for anyone that only saw this afternoon and think, well, how did he get to the final? Because he did not play well at all.
36.
You're seeing why he's here today in this session, playing great stuff.
$37. $44. $45.
That's a nice little touch as well, I think. He's on the bottom
52.
red.
$53.
He's like a completely different player tonight, isn't he? He's played so well.
$60. $61.
Yeah, whatever else happens tonight, and it's not over yet, he's going to be a major, major threat. Not just this season, but in years to come. Still only 20.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the tools, hasn't he, really? You know, the cue action is big, expansive backswing. There's a lot going on, but it's all good.
67.
He's very accurate even when he's using pace. He's got a bit of a bounce around the table, hasn't he, tonight? He's feeling good about things, and so he should.
Yeah, this is frame ball, and we're going to the interval, and it could be that he'll make his third century of the night.
74. 75.
Yeah, he played the cannon, and now he's faced with an awkward one. A little rueful smile. The red to middle to keep the break going. Far from easy, this.
Well, the break ends at 82. But what a wonderful contribution it was once again. Yize has made 2 centuries tonight. A lot of people, I think, felt it would be over quickly. It's still going. We are going to the interval, and Neal Robertson still needs to win 1 frame to get his hands on the Steve Davis Trophy. He leads the English Open final at the last interval by 8 frames to 4.
Welcome back to the Brentwood Centre, the final of the English Open, and it's getting a little bit juicy now, isn't it? He has been absolutely outstanding. He's looked like a completely different player. Yize is on the comeback trail against Neal Robertson. Robertson, though, still in front. He leads 8 frames to 4, and we've really enjoyed watching on Alan McManus and Jimmy White alongside me, and Sunday's always for snooker finals, and we've really been enjoying this one. We will get into the analysis very soon, but quick reflection what we've seen so far.
You know, fabulous stuff, and we just, you know, that's how he can play. He didn't play at all today. He made a few mistakes. Obviously, Neal Robertson pounced on them, but tonight he showed the viewers watching who've not seen him before how good he is. You know, there was some brilliant snooker in them breaks.
And it just shows you the early frames of our final, the difference that they made. I mean, Wu possibly could have won frame 2, but for a bad slice of fortune, and then he should have won another one of the frames that he lost. You know, you could easily be looking at 6-all, but you know, Neal got the job done, or mostly done early on.
Sure, but it was the start we needed to see from Wu. We're talking of a rising superstar from China, and he's produced that, hasn't he, Jimmy, in frame 9 with that 1-2-7 break?
Yeah, he always looks very focused, you know, and he's come out tonight. Obviously, can't see himself getting beat at the beginning. He might have, like his dad might have said, you know, just go out there and free flow. And this break, the first red of that break was fantastic, and then this blue, he was in trouble. Not only has he potted it clean in the green pocket, he's played on the red between the brown and green. You know, fabulous shot, fabulous curist.
Neal Robertson battled back, he won the next frame, and then we move on to the next frame, Alan, and Wu, brilliant again.
We're going to see a couple of touches of real class and quality here, and listen, I'm a huge fan of this boy. Neal tries to trap him there, and the plan goes awry, because he smacks in the long red, and then he not only plays in behind the yellow off this green, worth seeing again, isn't it, the cue ball bouncing down there. He tucked him in behind the yellow green a second ago, and then another lovely shot. It's the way that he tends to hit the ball, Jim, isn't it?
Yeah,
nice and forceful.
Most players on the tour would have potted that red and bounced up for the blue or pink, but he hits the ball so sweet. He's got so much confidence in his ability, and he goes through the ball, and he's just hit that, bounce for the black. He knows he gets the black on the spot, he wins the frame.
And we're going to see that confidence in frame 12 with this brown, Alan.
Yeah, bags of confidence, and you know, 8-4, I think in the back of his mind he'll be thinking, do you know what, if I can just hold myself for this frame and get it on the board, things aren't quite done and dusted just yet. Another touch of class. That cut-back shot's been a feature of him all week long. He plays it at such a carefree way, and it's not done yet, this, is it?
No, it's not. Both of you are saying that's it, it's all over.
Yeah, we will.
How is Neal Robertson feeling right now? He's actually in the practice room.
I think Robertson will appreciate that he's not done a lot wrong. The guy has played fantastic, and because he's such a prolific winner and he's 8-4 in front, he'd just be focusing on getting the next frame. You know, he knows, he's now seen that what he can actually do under extreme pressure, but he won't be concerned yet.
He's been very complimentary. He knows exactly the talent that Yize is. Any worry at all for Robbo right now, Alan?
There is one worry, and it's because Wu's incredibly special. There's hundreds of players down the years in this sport, when they're facing defeat, they start throwing the kitchen sink at shots. He hasn't done that, and that's saying to Neal, I think I'm still in this. So Neal's still got to put him away. That's the key to this. A lot of players go, looks like I'm going to, I'll just go for one. None of that at all, and that's why he's impressed me even more, what he's shown tonight.
Yeah, we was talking backstage, me and Alan, you know, he's playing the right way. He's not trying to force the issue. He's not trying to, you know, like open the balls up. He's playing the proper way. Unfortunately, he didn't play like that the first session, but the way he's playing, still in it.
Is it too late? I feel we've got a little bit life left in this final. Let's hope so. It's been really entertaining, certainly the first mini session of this evening. And Wu Yize, he has been so good all week. It's been a breakthrough week for him and a quality performance so far tonight, but he still trails. Time to hear more now from our finalists, Wu Yize and Neal Robertson, ahead of this match here in Brentwood.
You won your first ranking event in 2006, the Grand Prix. What do you remember from then, and how would it? Do you still get the same feeling as you did back then when you get to these finals?
I think, well, going into the final of the Grand Prix, it was like the unknown. You know, I didn't know what it was going to be like to experience it. So yeah, it was, you know, you're sort of stepping into new waters. But you know, it's a long time ago now. But yeah, I just, you know, remember winning my first one, and then I think I won the next 8 as well. You know, so I got off to a flyer in terms of you know, getting into my first final and winning one. And amazing fans, and the crowd was huge. So yeah, no, I always look back on that moment with great memories.
What is it that's been working for you this week?
Just everything. Discipline. Every single shot has been 100%. You know, haven't been any slack shots. You know, opponents are having to work hard for their chances, and it's, you know, it's allowing me, you know, to get in with other means, not just sort of relying on long potting or opponents making mistakes. You know, I feel as though I've been really sort of like forcing errors out of my opponents.
And what sort of message do you reckon this would send to the rest of the players on tour, or with a win here?
I think that I've already sent a message this week. You know, drop 5 frames, getting to the final, playing a brand of snooker which maybe many people didn't think I could play to this kind of level. You know, it's always been about a lot of, you know, I've been a great safety player. You know, you can't win the titles I have, you know, without it. But I think I've taken that to an absolute next level now, which is really pleasing.
我接触斯诺克好像是6岁吧，然后那个时候其实我是很内向，然后我爸喜欢打球，然后他就带我去台球厅，然后那个时候就接触了，就第一次接触就很喜欢，然后觉得自己当时就是也没有人教过，刚接触我也能就是打到球吧，然后觉得很好玩，慢慢的就到小学的时候，然后我爸妈给我在家里就是摆了一张球桌，那个时候就每天放学去偶尔玩个1个小时左右吧，然后就越打越喜欢吧，然后从初一的时候对就辍学了，然后就开始正规训练吧，然后为职业努力。这个我觉得我身边的人是这样的，然后具体有多少人我也不清楚，没有了解过。然后我觉得我在国内整体的打球的风格呀什么的应该还好吧，对，应该挺受大家欢迎的。对，因为已经走到这一步了，你也没法决定你的对手是谁，就我觉得对谁都一样吧，更多的是要就是保持自己的状态去发挥出来，对。
The story so far in this year's English Open, live from the Brentwood Centre. Neal Robertson leading Wu Yize by 8 frames to 4. And there you will see the total points. And considering the scoreline, Wu Yize has got plenty of points on the board, hasn't he? Pot success. It's been a high-quality session. 94% for Neal and 91% for Wu Yize. So it's been great stuff, hasn't it? And a lot more to come. And, of course, a lot to potentially come for Neal Robertson if he is to win this match, this final. And there you'll see the world rankings from 16 to 22. John Higgins on 16, Neal Robertson on 22. If he is to win the English Open, the Steve Davis Trophy this evening, he will move into the top 16 and John Higgins will be off.
Yeah, and was it 27, 28 years or something he's been in the top six? But that's the first cut-off of the season. There's a lot of tournaments to go. So he wouldn't be that concerned, but obviously it'd be, you know, a new situation for him, but I'm sure he'll get back.
And a huge boost for Neal Robertson, considering just the difficulties and the struggles that he's had recently. I know he's not over the line yet, but
No.
We've seen, you know, winning a tournament like this, how it can really propel a player. We've seen Mark Williams in Belfast that time, Judd Trump, and of course Neal himself back in 2022.
And it kind of is a cyclical thing, because you get players like who have a lean spell and then they hit the straps again. Like, for Neal's sake, let's hope it's tonight. And then they go on a run again. Sean Murphy's been a bit like that down the years, John Higgins at times. So the good times could be rolling again for him if he wins tonight.
Yeah, if he wins. Jimmy, could we be seeing a monster come back on our hands here?
Well, you know, I'll be honest, I didn't give him a prayer after the first session because, you know, the way he played. I know how he can play and how he's come out there and played tonight. You know, there's nothing you can do if someone does that to you. You see O'Sullivan do it to players often. Sure. You know, but Neal Robertson, I still think he's going to eventually knock one in and win one frame in one visit.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, it all points to Neal getting this done and dusted. There's something about this guy, Yize. I've been saying it for a few years. He's got class. There's something about him. He's got something special. The way he hits the cue ball. I tell you the one thing he hasn't got yet: ruthlessness. That's what you need in these big finals. Neal showed it this afternoon. You've got to be ruthless. He's brilliant, he's talented, he can take it to you, but you've got to be ruthless at certain moments in the match.
Well, he's taken it to Neal Robertson in this final session here in Brentwood. And I suppose, well, if you didn't see our coverage earlier, you guys gave him no chance coming into tonight, like zero.
Absolutely, you've got to be honest with that, yeah.
7-1 behind against Neal Robertson.
I know, but and this is, you know, sport.
Listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it goes
you.
8 each. But, you know, it's... listen, he's shown tonight what we know he's got, and that is, you know, finesse, quality all round. And that ruthlessness that Alan was going on about, that will come when he starts to win. But he hasn't tried to force the issue. He's played safe at the right time.
I'm going to say that he can still win this, Yize.
Well, let's get to the action then. What a final we have potentially still on our hands. Here's our commentary team.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people thought this final would have been done by now when it resumed 7-1 to Neal Robertson. He finished off with 2 centuries this afternoon. Yize, though, has made 2 of his own tonight, and 82 as well. So it's 8-4. Robertson needs 1 more to become English Open champion and pick up the Steve Davis Trophy. It would be his first ranking title for 2.5 years. Still needs 1 more, and he's seen an opponent in very determined mood here. Let's see what happens as the players resume after the interval. Neal Robertson certainly won't be panicking with his vast experience, but he won't want to give Yize many more chances because he's been taking them this evening. He's been very, very impressive after a disappointing, nervy afternoon for him. For those of you joining us, this is the final of the English Open. Neal Robertson 8, Yize 4. Wu has been impressive this evening. He's won 3 of the first 4, so Neal Robertson still needs 1 more for victory. And the £100,000 first prize back in the top 16 and all the spin-offs that come with it, but still needing one more frame.
Well, that's caused a problem now because of all the reds in open play, and there are an awful lot of them. A little sort of nod of the head there from Yize, I think, in acceptance that he's up against a difficult table here, because Robertson's last shot has threatened him. And he hasn't even really got the option to sort of drill a long ball in, because everything's going to be tricky from underneath that cushion. Is there an area in bulk where he can keep things safe? He's just got to watch where this red goes. I think he's going to leave the cue ball in that corner and take the red round the angles. He's got to make sure the red doesn't go anywhere that's unkind to him. That's not a bad shot. Thought that one through and weathered the storm. Well, he's got an easy safety shot here off the right-hand red in bulk, but he's looking at winding himself up to take on one of those long reds. Even looking at them is something, because really almost everyone on the tour would just be playing safe off this red that he's now doing. Well, whatever happens from here, that little exchange was won by Yize, because he has a red on here, which is not an easy starter.
One.
Beautifully controlled shot, that. Well, he's earned this chance. How much, or how many he makes from it, of course, different matter, but he's manoeuvred himself into a position to get in amongst them first in the frame.
Well, if he takes a couple of reds and blacks, it's worth remembering in the pre-TV phase, if you like, the
17.
First couple of qualifying rounds, Fang Zhengyi did make a maximum, which is still worth 5,000 to him.
$24. 25.
Well, there was that burst before the mid-session interval, which took us to the break, which we didn't think we were going to get. So far, he's come out in the same sort of vein.
$28.
Carrying on where he left off. This is a tough shot, though. Not only the pop, but the fact that he was moving reds, shifting reds below it.
$35. $37. $38.
Well, this is really good stuff. I mean,
43.
It's a different ball game tonight for Yize to earlier. He's just checking to see if the black goes to the left corner past the red. On the basis of that shot, it must do.
44.
Yeah, it certainly will pass. He's holding for that red, and now the black spot's clear. Frame's not won yet, but I tell you, he's not far away from achieving 51. That.
52.
He might just nudge the three reds. If he could nudge the left side of them, he'd be on the one. He's out in the open play over there, to the left middle. That's the shot that he's played. Beautifully done. That's very well executed, cleverly played.
Yes, it's no longer about the occasion, is it? He's just playing snooker. Now, whether that will last if he starts to get really close to Robertson, we'll see. But this is just terrific stuff from Yize.
$65.
This is the ball that should make it 8-5. The concern for Robertson has got to be that Yize is winning them in one visit. He's needing one chance to put them away.
73.
That red stays out, but it's another terrific break, 73.
I think Neal's carrying on. You've just got to try and sort of, I don't know, take the steam out of the situation somehow.
1.
I don't know if he's got any real hopes of winning the frame. I don't think he has. He just wants to be at the table.
Yeah, the 3 frames that he lost before the interval, he didn't pot a ball in any of them. And it would have been the same here had he not decided to come and pot a few.
Nine.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happens tonight, and we're assuming very much it's going to go 8-5. You know, Yize has got the balance right. He's an attacking player. But the controlled aggression he's showing and the odd subtle little shot here or there, he's got it all sorted out. He's almost like he's learning on his feet in this final. He's only a young man. He's going to get better all the time.
17. $23.
So 50 in it. Oh, well, there you are. He's not even trying for the snookers. He's trying to just get some table time. Fair enough. Perfectly entitled to do that, even though he's not really trying to get the frame won.
$31.
The thing is, he knows that unlikely comebacks can happen because he made one himself, of course. Well, made a couple. He made one against Chow Yu-peng in the Scottish Open 2017. He made one against John Higgins on 9-4 down to win 10-9. That was when he won that Tour Championship, his last ranking title. He's having to wait a bit longer for his next one because Yize is now playing some of his best snooker of the tournament to keep himself in this tournament. Robertson's lead is cut to 8-5. Yes, I think things are hotting up here. It's another very impressive frame from Yize.
I thought this first red that he played, you know, he potted the red to middle, steered the cue ball around for the black, was a really good shot. And he's not the sort of shot you associate with him, you know, he's not necessarily a touch player, but it was ever so nice. This was opening a lot of reds. All the right shots are being played now. This, with reds in open play, he could bring some more in. This is the other cannon I liked because he played just to the left side of the trio of reds to ensure that he developed the 3, but also have 60. The red he knocked in there at his mercy. So, yeah, it's 66. All good. And the way that he plays these stun run through shots, they're very difficult to play. But I don't think Neal Robertson will panic just yet. But now's not the time to panic, but it might come at some point. Panic in time if he wins the next couple.
Well, we can see here some notable comebacks. Marco Fu was in trouble early on against John Higgins. He made 3 centuries in a row, as I recall there, Higgins, but Fu, from 4-1 down, didn't lose another frame. Mark Allen in early trouble as well against Show Yu Long in Belfast, again, from 4-1 down. Didn't lose another frame. Judd Trump last year. There's been others as well. Neal Robertson is the obvious one, really, from 8-4 down to Chow Yu-peng. And that's the thing, he knows it can happen because he's done it himself. If it goes 8-6, which obviously it will do if Yize wins this next frame, then I think that does become very interesting. Certainly if he can win another frame like that, just needing one chance. But it's all ifs and buts, of course. The fun is finding out by watching. Neal Robertson led this final 8-2. Let's be honest, it was over then, but it's not over. It's 8-5. And it's not just Wu Yize winning frames, it's how he's winning them. And he's getting the crowd on his side here. You can hear them cheering him as he comes back. 182.73 last 3 frames. He had a 127 earlier.
If I can settle down, please, and take your seats. The 14th frame.
Neal Robertson still one
Yize
away.
back.
I think the other thing to say is, of course, this is why players strive for such big leads when they can. Neal Robertson, this afternoon, he was winning all those frames. He knew he had to win. Keep winning them. You know, there was no thing, well, I'll be 5-3 or 6-2, they'll be okay, because you never know what sort of comebacks you're going to be up against. Now, that's an error. And he's been very lucky. So is the tide turning now? The run going? It was the first mistake he's made for a long time, and he got away with it, luckily.
One.
Oh. Wow. Oh my goodness. What a shot. What a shot. Long straight ball like that. Thudded into the back of the pocket.
Wow.
He's played 2 absolutely stunning shots in a row here. I mean, look at the way he's opened these reds, the speed he got on the ball. That was sensational.
Well, I don't care how cool a character Neal Robertson is, he must be concerned watching this. Within a couple of shots where Yize is giving himself every chance to pull another one back.
And that's a good shot as well, because the blue's away from its spot. It's not a natural shot to play on the blue in open space like that when it's away from its usual position. It's A1. He may have had a chat with his father or something and been very frustrated this afternoon. It's all coming out in a positive way tonight, though, isn't it? I mean, no one's saying he's going to go on and win this, but it's great to see the journey he's on.
11.
Yeah, and even if he loses now, and he hasn't yet, but one of the things people will remember from this final is this, how he's playing here.
12.
It would have been so easy for the shoulders to slump and you're almost 7-1 down, so just going through the motions, but he found something very special here.
Well, interesting shot to play, because you've played on the red below the pink, which just weaves its way through that gap and opens up the pink in the process.
$18.
He had a few difficulties in that pocket earlier. I have to say that in the afternoon session he missed 3 or 4 easy balls, but mercifully that hasn't
24.
been the case tonight.
$25.
But he's able to hit through the ball, you know, and thud balls into pockets. I can't think of too many players in the world game that do it better. It's a little delicate one sometimes that he has to rein himself in on.
$31.
Well, of course, came and tried to sort of clear the table at the end of the last frame, Robertson, just to get a few shots, but he's back in that seat again. The first red was sort of fired in his general direction, wasn't it, into the yellow pocket?
Yeah, no, he's just taking a little bit of time over this because he hasn't really met with a real problem, but he's got to decide which red is the most effective to play. He's gone away from his first thought.
32.
Because he couldn't see position, so he's doing all the right things. He's not just rushing into every shot. He's past that stage. He's banging the match.
$38. $39.
Yeah, I mean, the opening red that Dave was speaking about, what a shot. And then the brown to follow it, where the cue ball gathered so much pace and just went into the reds and demolished them, really.
$45.
Not really been able to clear the black spot. Those 2 reds, they're not completely tying the black up, but they're just making things very awkward for him to land on the black, which would be the last piece of the jigsaw in a way. Done all the rest of it.
$46.
Well, that's one way to do it, and it was very measured. If there's anything that's not so good about that shot, the ready cannon has just pushed into the 6 now, and they're awkward. He's got
53.
To elevate the cue, I think he's got to play surely the red to left corner here, over the top of a load of reds, unless something goes to the middle. Oh, this goes to the middle. This is a delicate one again. And now, very close to getting another frame one, but one more positional shot is required. Showing great poise here. He's not rushed into any of it. He knows how well he's playing. He's desperate to keep the break alive. Now, if that red goes past the black, he doesn't got to do quite as much positionally. Must be tight. Be good to see down that line, but it makes a huge difference if it does go. Yeah, that will go all right. If he's behind it, that flies. Not quite facing the pocket right behind him, which would be easier, but this will certainly go if he hits it right.
So one more red needed after this, and it's going to be 8-6.
Well, he's played on either the bottom red or there's a red in the middle of the bunch which might go. It's all very intricate. This break's been taking a lot of hard work. It's not so much if the red goes this time, it's can he see enough of it from the other red? Trace of side maybe.
66.
Well, his very first shot of the night, he potted a long red, and we said, that's what you got to do tonight, don't miss. And apart from the frame that he lost, he kind of hasn't. He's just completely flicked a switch here.
This has been the most fantastic break. I mean, whatever happens from here, he's already, with snooker's acquired. It's been absolutely stunning. The way that he's made it, the way that he's kept it going, the reds were open, but sometimes awkward.
72.
I mean, this, he just drilled that in, and you can't see a frame played better by anybody in the world than this. It's been spellbinding stuff.
Yeah, put together with the other frames he's won, this is as good as we've seen in the tournament, this spell. And now that it's 8-6, and how he's winning the frames, the comeback is well and truly on.
80.
Of course, the question then is, the closer he gets to completing it, can he play with such freedom like this? We'll see, but the main thing is he's put himself in that position.
Well, absolutely. I mean, for Neal Robertson, it's got beyond a joke. His father,
86.
his father there, is on the edge of his seat. Must be a very proud man,
87.
whatever happens in this final. But this is, it's kind of turned everything around because he had a bad afternoon session. And he's been magnificent tonight.
Sunday night
94.
on UK television is so often about great drama. And we're seeing another
95.
one here. Yize is playing now the starring role. This black for his third century of the night. Oh, what a shame. What a shame that he's missed the black. But what a break. And what a performance overall. Yize refusing to go away. He's won 4 on the spin. And Neal Robertson's lead is now only 8-6. Well, again, just brilliant from the young man.
Yeah, I mean, he had a stroke of luck at the beginning of the frame where he didn't leave a red up into the yellow pocket. He made a safety error. But then this, I mean, look at this shot. Can't think of too many players that would have had the technique and the sort of vision to play that shot. This is, I mean, it's almost an act of vandalism of the reds, isn't it, really, the way that he opened those up. Just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. And it did put the reds in slightly awkward places, as you can see. Yes, they're all over the table. I thought that was a lovely positional shot to get the blue in play. But all those reds grouped up sort of right of centre. But he managed to pick them off one by one. It's a shame he didn't get the century. Ultimately, didn't matter that much, but it would have been quite nice because there were lots of intricate and, you know, thought-provoking shots, really. And he seemed to pass all the tests. I mean,
60.
the fact that he could play on that route, which only just went, There was lots of very tight squeezes, but he got all the reds potted. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, just spellbinding. I mean, there was sort of talk there might be an exhibition if it finished before the interval. It feels like we're watching one, but the match is still very much live, with a possible 3. Not quite this time. Neal Robertson getting a big cheer as he comes back into the arena. His highest break tonight, Robertson, is only 40. He did a lot of damage, of course, this afternoon. He finished with 2 centuries, but 40, his best effort. His opponent has had a string of breaks. It could have been a 3rd century there, but the 95 has brought it back to 8-6. And he's actually, in the match now, scored more points. Who is it?
Yes, I think what he's got to do now, if he can, A, keep potting balls like he is, but he's just got to keep the pressure on Neal Robertson, not do anything silly, because surely he's feeling it. You know, he's not won for a while, and he didn't expect this bombardment tonight, I don't think.
No, because it's just night and day from the performance this afternoon. He's gone from a sort of 2 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 with Yize.
I think Neal Robertson is at the point where he's desperately trying to take the sting out of things, you know, and just not get him out of his stride. But nothing's working like that. It just comes down to the point. If Neal does get a chance, he's just got to take it, I think, and pot the balls before Yize can pot them. He just isn't really getting any table time at all. He's sitting in that chair watching all this go on. I mean, all of the frames tonight that he's lost, Neal Robertson, he has played no part in. One of the frames he scored 33 points, but that was just after the frame was over and he was having a few shots. All the others, he's been just sitting in the chair, not putting a ball in any of them. It's quite a good shot, but he has left this long red, and you know what that could mean. But from underneath that cushion, this would be a really difficult shot. Difficult pot with very little guarantees on getting onto a colour. Might be able to play the containing shot, but there's a red down there near the black spot as well, so it's not an easy decision, this. Well, it could be worse. If you miss it by that far, you don't leave the red on. Yeah, well, he's covered the right side of the table. There may be just an edge or two he can see, but it's not very promising. You can see what Neal's doing. He's just trying to slow it down a bit, take the edge off of his opponent, who's been all over him, quite honestly, and hope that something comes his way he can take. Well, if he hasn't got a safety shot, I suppose it's like anything else, you may as well try and pop one, but there's nothing easy here. Oh, goodness me. What is going on? It's one of the very few mistakes he's made. The red's gone in like a bullet into that top right. And I suppose if he's going to launch one of the great comebacks, you need this to happen as well, on top of all the good.
Wow. What a thing to happen. Robertson must have been about to get out of his chair thinking this could be my opportunity. Not bound to get out of his chair again in the frame now.
Yeah, I mean, there's 8-2 up, you know. We've known that turned around, but can you think of very, very odd instances? The stars have all got to align, haven't they? And the run of the ball's got to change, the standard's got to improve, all sorts has got to happen.
5.
He kind of just gave a very cursory wave. He didn't really seem all that sorry about it, did he? I can't blame him.
Well, here we're here again, aren't we? I mean, it looked like a final that was petering out. It would have been a great story if Robertson had won easily, the coronation, all of that. It's turning into one of the most memorable that we've seen in recent times. Of course, the last final went down to the last black, Judd Trump with a great clearance against Mark Williams, but that had been a real nip and tuck affair. It's always a bit different when there's a comeback, in terms of just the feeling in the room.
19.
The thing is, I mean, Neal Robertson had him in all kinds of trouble from that last shot, and he looked for a long time, and he went for one. I don't blame him going for one, because he couldn't see a shot. Neal had him tied up in knots there, until the red ended up going into the top right pocket from the outlandish fluke. They say fortune favours the brave, don't they?
24.
Don't think he's got much of an angle here. You have to use a bit of force on this one. Well, he's playing a different red. This is tough.
25.
The full range of shots are coming out tonight from Yize.
$30. 31.
We just caught a glimpse that pink does parts those two reds to the left middle. Again, it's a very delicate little shot to hold for a red. Well, it wasn't played delicately at all, and I think when he can put his cue right through the ball in the way he did on that shot, he looks a very formidable player. He's a little delicate one, he doesn't hit so well. But at that kind of extra pace, he incredibly accurate.
37.
Again, bit of work to do here. And he can play on the pink will go, goodness me.
.44. 45.
I think back to this afternoon, some of the balls he was missing, particularly to middle pockets, as Neal mentioned earlier, you know, you just thought, he's not coping at all. And he wasn't then, but whatever he did between sessions, it's worked. I'm sure his dad had a word. Go out and enjoy it. He's certainly enjoying it now. There he is.
I mean, the pair of them, Yize and his father, must have been very disappointed with how he played when you know he can play like this. And then he misses that one again. There's something about that left middle, those little delicate shots. He puts all the difficult ones and misses the very odd easy one. It's amazing, isn't it, after all those pots, that this stays up.
Well, it's the first ball in live play he's missed in a long time. And he hasn't won the frame from a fluke, but he's got a 50-point lead.
Yeah, Neal is always pretty cool and pretty sort of pragmatic about things, but he must be getting a bit frustrated, mustn't he? He's getting... If ever there is a mistake made, he's still not getting a pot. He got lucky there as well. That was not as planned. He hit both reds. Although he has left something.
Well, how's Neal Robertson feeling as he comes to the table here? We're about to find out.
Interesting if he can control the cue ball here. It's edging over close to those two reds by the black spot. Just a little bit thinner than that. It's no good. He's going on to these sort of shots cold, isn't he? Very cold. Nothing that he's seen for so long. He can't have any real flow to his game.
Neal Robertson, 1.
So 5 hours playing time, and what a fascinating stage this is. It was 8-2 to Robertson, it's 8-6. Yize got the fluke, he made 50, missed a red. But where the balls are, if he leaves Robertson a chance, the clearance would be available.
Well, he's looking at the plant. I think if the cue ball was directly in line with the 2 reds, it would be easier. The cue ball's a bit low, which means it's not so easy as all that to judge. He ended up hitting it very quickly. He's undeniably rattled, but I don't think anyone in his position wouldn't be.
Yes, and now red's run safe to that left side cushion, which doesn't favour him, of course, trailing in the frame.
I mean, even that shot, the red flicked the yellow and now isn't potable anywhere. You're kind of thinking that the red hot spell of Yize might be just coming to an end, but ultimately still 49 in front in this frame, so he's holding all the aces again. Well, that's also pretty good for Yize. He might have intended that, just to get the pink a little more towards the cushion. Again, it's not a very nice looking table for a player 49 points behind. Balls are not in perfect spots. I don't know how he's feeling. He looks okay outwardly. He's doing a lot of thinking, but he's not potting hardly any balls, and that's the biggest problem.
I mean, in general, he's a very positive character, very optimistic character. but that's being seriously tested right now, the onslaught that he's having to withstand this evening. It looked for all the world like 8-7 as well, didn't it, until Wu Yize missed that red to the middle. But he's not leaving him any chances.
No, and he's played everybody multiple times. He's played all of the greats. He's won himself. But I can't imagine too many players have thrown this much at him over the years. I don't mean anybody.
Well, we've seen Wu Yize knock all sorts in tonight, and there's another long red available.
Yeah, he doesn't have to play it because he's in front.
Couldn't help himself, and when he can pot like that, you can't blame him.
Well, this is it, and there's another absolutely magnificent ball that he potted there.
Six.
So, second chance. Of course, first started with the fluke. There was nothing lucky about that. Robertson didn't play the best safety, but even so, it was a terrific pot to set up the chance for 8-7.
7.
Well, if you're in the Neal Robertson camp with his family or Joe Perry, his coach, you're worried. You've got to be worried because it's got beyond a joke for him now. You know, you expect a bit of a backlash, a player 8-2 down, throwing his arm at a few, but it hasn't really been like that. It's been absolutely pure brilliance. And it seems to be the onslaught is not ending here.
Yeah, I mean, either way now for Neal Robertson, it's going to be memorable. It's either going to be his first ranking title for 2.5 years, or he's going to be on the wrong end of one of the best comebacks we've ever seen in a major final. And right now, you wouldn't want to say which one is going to happen.
19. Any frame.
The comeback continues. It's 5 on the spin from Wu Yize. This is now anyone's. 8-7. Another dramatic frame. Wasn't the clean kill this time, but it had plenty of drama.
Yeah, and you could see what was happening. Look, he got very lucky here. I mean, that red's gone in. I mean, you think, hang on, this match now really is turning into something quite dark if you're a Neal Robertson fan, but yeah, he still made a nice break, you know, a really nice 50 break before the break eventually came to an end. This was a shot I thought he was going to play slowly, and that's sometimes when he misses, but he drilled it in. But then he misses this one. You know, he does sometimes surprise you with those shots to middle that do not go in, but it's hard to find anything that's not positive about how he's played today. You know, he went for this long red. I'm thinking there's people out there willing him not to take that risk, but in it went like all the others, really. I mean, you know, it's wonderful ball striking. I mean, it's really special to watch. And you can sense that Neal Robertson all the time is trying to do something to stem the flow, but he just can't do it. He can't stop him. Whatever he tries, he can't stop him.
No, I mean, as we look at the stats, frame 13, he came and he made 33, didn't he, at the end of that, just to pot a few. But other than that, he's only potted one ball in live play in 5 frames. So Wu Yize has been completely dominant in turning this around, and there's not much to choose between any of those stats now, are there? It's all very much in the balance. A match that, as I say, looked set to be a procession has turned into a thriller. Another one here in the Home Nation Series. So a possible 2 frames left. Neal Robertson, we've been saying it now for a good hour and a half, still needs one. Can Yize take us all the way here? The crowd, you know, I'm sure when they arrived tonight 7-1, they were thinking, well, we're glad to be here, but we're not going to see much snooker. But they are present at a really dramatic finale. Steve Davis Trophy. Steve Davis, of course, in the 1985 World Championship final, was 8-0 up on Dennis Taylor, was beaten, but that was a 2-day match. Stephen Hendry beat Mike Hallett from 8-2 down, 9-8 to win the Masters.
Frame 16.
Sean Murphy, same turnaround in the Wuxi Classic against Ding Junhui, but in a ranking event, to win from 6 down with 7 to play would be unprecedented in a final. But Yize, if he can win the next 2 frames, will have done exactly that. But as I say, now what's interesting, now that he's got a chance to win this tournament, is can he play with that same freedom? Well, we're going to find out. Neal Robertson determined to get in and stop him from having the chance to do that.
Well, that might not matter. Your eyes were quickly shifting across to see the red where it's gone. So it'll only be the value of that 4 points. He's not left anything. I mean, look, if you're a snooker aficionado, a neutral, so many are, you know, you just love to see this go 8-all and see what happens thereafter, how it'll all unfold. But of course, if you're involved in the Neal Robertson camp, you absolutely do not want to see that. That's the last thing you want in your mind. Gone all this time without winning, and he gets hit by all this. But 8-all would be quite something if it happened. He's sizing up this red. Screwing off the cushion. Oh my goodness. It's another incredible pot. Look at how cleanly it went in. It's frightening, isn't it? It really is. Not nicely on the black. Not to get onto a red after it anyway. I mean, you can't really say he's unlucky not to be cleanly on a red, because what is he thinking? He's thinking that he never misses, and when he does, the ball's still going somewhere.
Oh, wow. It was a bit of a blur, wasn't it, as that black flew back across the cushion. Here it is again.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's easy for someone like me that doesn't play anymore to say that's one shot too many, because in hindsight it does look like that. But when they go in, we're not saying it. The only thing I would say is he's looking at a plant now, and that is enough to give Neal Robertson plenty to think about if that goes in as well. I don't think he can get to the plant, but he certainly looked at it. Doesn't want to leave it, perhaps. He's actually playing safe. And that's what he has to do very occasionally.
Yize.
And look how well he's done it. Neal, again, could have been on an easier red than the one he's left with. But he's not showing any real emotion. He's not waving his arms around or all of the things that come as human nature to most people who play this game. Yeah, the run has turned horribly against him, as well as everything else that's gone on.
One.
Well, he played it without any confidence. I know it went in, but look, he didn't at any point think about getting on the black. He just didn't want to leave a red. So it looked nice, but it was not really hurting his opponent.
Neal Robertson, 1.
I just can't imagine that Neal Robertson will want to take any risks here. I think he was always going to do this, just drop up to the reds. I think you'd be petrified to leave anything on for Yize.
If you come around from here, you can see it.
Well, he's not giving it a touching ball, and he's not going to change his mind, Marcel.
It's not touching. It's not touching.
Possible re-rack if the ball stay in this position. There's so much to risk by playing too expansive a shot. Needs to be careful he doesn't leave the red to middle here. Well, as he covered it, he looked straight across at the line. It's mighty close as to whether this ball is available. Bit of tension in Neal Robertson's arm, but I think he's just got it far enough. And now Yize has got to be equally as careful, because the balls are in good positions for the next player to get in. At least he's having a good look at this, because this is maybe the biggest shot we've seen so far. I think he's looking at pulling that red to middle, past the one close to the pocket, but screwing across and not leaving anything. But even then, it looks incredibly difficult. This is a really difficult shot. That's not bad. I mean, there's something that might go, but he's not done too badly there. He's still in this.
Well, one thing's for sure, there's an absolute pile-on for someone here. First player to get in. It will be a frame-winning opportunity where the Reds are, but who's it going to be? It's been an evening of big breaks from this man. This is a tense passage of play, though. Very important one as well.
That's a good shot, isn't it? Look, he dropped off all the Reds over on the right side. And Neal he's hardly getting anything to go at, and this has got beyond a joke. You know, he's barely had a pot in live play for, I don't know, about an hour and a half of this evening's session. I suppose what Neal will take some consolation. This is a very different sort of a frame now. High value colours up there, tied up. Maybe the kind of frame he needs to just scrape over the line, not open. Because the open frames, Yize has been absolutely devouring, to be honest. Very intelligent shot. I think he tried to get blue and pink back in play there.
Wow. Well, his luck has changed. He's overcut the red to middle. Cannon into that one, and it's gone in. What a moment for that to happen. I got one, he said. Let's be honest, his opponent's had a few. But always with flukes, it's about what can you do from them.
Yeah, I mean, they do say that luck evens itself out, which of course some people would argue that's not the case, but I think it did there, because he was all out to pot a ball, wasn't he? Any ball, in any pocket.
Well, it's an unconventional table, to say the least, but can Neal Robertson here use his many years of experience to start building a nice lead?
Yeah, he'd be eyeing up where that blue is. It could be that he can get onto the blue and he'd love it back on his own spot. And the red that's close to the green spot, he might be able to pot and just land on the blue into the top left, and then all of a sudden get this show on the road, or whichever red he plays, the blue might come into his thought process.
8.
I mean, it could end up a really good chance, this. She's got the colours are a little bit awkwardly placed.
Well, one thing I've felt the whole tournament is that his thinking has been excellent, his discipline has been excellent, so that's the frame of mind he needs to stay in for the next however many minutes it needs to get over the line if he can.
Yes, I mean, look, he was on the wrong end of some wonderful potting and some pretty cruel luck, but I can think a lot of players who might have just combusted under those circumstances. But he didn't show any reaction. When he got his fluke, he just calmly said, "I've got one." And he kind of knew what he meant.
Yes, I mean, over the years he's demonstrated considerable strength, hasn't he? Strength of character, just to come from Australia, to leave your family behind as a young man and chase your dream with no money in your pocket. Says a lot about him. I think if he wins now, I mean, I thought this at the start of the night at 7-1, but even more so now, if he wins, this has got to be very near the top of the list of all-time wins for him. He never beat the World Championship, but in terms of what he's gone through in the last 2 years and what he's gone through this evening, if he gets there.
18.
Yes, well, now he's got that blue free, so this becomes an even better chance. Been upgraded. There's a proper chance now.
In a funny way, this is what he's been missing, hasn't it? When he's been sitting out big tournaments, the drama,
23,
the thrills and spills of top-level snooker.
24.
The only thing I would say is he's taking quite low-value colours, so he's never going to quite breeze away from Yize in this frame by doing so. So it might take him a lot more pots to put the match to bed.
$26. 27. 32.
green is safe as well, so as he's building a lead that is to his advantage.
33.
Yeah, a few options here because he has got the red up the table on the right side, but if he's straight enough on this blue, he might think he can split the two reds below the cue ball now and pop one of them, and of course the other one then is out in open play also. So he's interested in doing that, getting on that right hand red of the two from somewhere where he's queuing. Holding the spot, that means blue on the black spot, which he won't mind any of this right now. You know, the points are mounting
38.
up.
39.
Yes, 41 in front now, with 67 on.
44.
He's been able, it seems so far, to focus just on the table as Yize looks on. What a performance it's been this evening from him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's really come of age in this match. We knew he was good. We've seen how good he is this week, but what we've seen tonight is on a different level, actually.
45.
And he'll come out of it with a lot of credit, even if he does lose, which is looking slightly more likely now. You know, if he doesn't go on and do big things in this game, then I'll be staggered.
Well, 47 with the blue. So he's a few balls away now. Just plotting the course here.
I mean, it's this uncertainty of sport. It was 7-1. No one really thought this was going to be much of an evening, really. But it's been fantastic.
$51.
Here we go then. This brown would get him 52 in front with 51 on.
Basically, it's another red, isn't it, that he really wants, even though, as you rightly say, it's down to a snooker with this brown going in.
Yeah, you're quite right, though. He wants the extra ball, but I think his son has actually left the arena. He was getting too much for him, maybe, but I'm sure we'll see him if Neal can pop this ball. This really feels like it is for victory. If only it were that straightforward.
Robertson, 55.
Feels it rolled off, I think. So one snooker required.
One.
The black ball is not on its spot. I wonder if he even noticed that, because he probably played on it in such a way as that it was. This might not go in. Well, he's still in there, still fighting away. Could really do with getting it down to one red, or to be honest, he could have taken it all the way down to the colours and And the green, it's one snooker if you can take high value colours, but then the red up the table with the black would be difficult. So he's just doing what he can. Interesting shot there from Neal, because Yize, you'd think, would just push this red down the table. That kind of makes the table look a little bit more sort of friendly for getting a snooker than it was earlier. That's not worked out too badly. It's a bit of a difficult one, isn't it, for both players? I'm not quite sure how to go about this. Neal Robertson, when that fluke went in this frame, he must have been, his eyes must have lit up there. Well, that's the one, isn't it? That is the one. It's not gone enough. And even if he had, I don't think it would be that. That's it. What a match.
Extraordinary. And Yize more than played his part, but it's Neal Robertson back in the big time. Full of praise for his determined opponent. But Neal Robertson ends a 2.5-year wait for a ranking title. He wins an absolute thriller here at the English Open, 9-7. A final that will live long in the memory. You can see the relief.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the interviews, may we have another round of applause for an extraordinary night of drama in Essex. Just extraordinary. great Chinese broadcaster Tai is going to help us with the translation. Tai, would you please just ask Wu Yize, please ask him that I hope he's taken some pride from a magnificent run to the final and very nearly pulling off one of the great comebacks of all time. He must be proud, even though he's lost the match.
祝贺你在本周的表现啊！你在这一周赢了这么多场比赛，打进决赛，并且几乎拿出了一场史诗级的逆转，你肯定对自己的表现感到非常的自豪。
对，我后边其实已经就完全毫无压力了，我只想当平时训练一样去打球。但是有点晚了吧，可能。然后刚开始，我觉得第一次进入到决赛，然后那种感觉、那种压力，使我就是上半场没有做得很好吧，对。
I think for the second half of the match, I was pretty much into it, and I was under no pressure, so felt really good. But it was a little bit too late. I think this is my first final, so during the afternoon session, I feel a bit of pressure. I was not doing it really good, but yeah, that's it.
And how much confidence does he take from a brilliant run to a first-ranking final at the age of 20 for the rest of this season? Because he's now up into the world's top 32 for the first time in his career.
你现在以20岁的年龄可以第一次打进排名赛的决赛，你一定是能获得很多的自信从这里面，因为毕竟你的世界排名也第一次来到了世界前32。
对，我觉得我整体的技术啊、心理我觉得都成长了吧。其实讲实话，我这次其实没有给自己定目标，但是到了16进8赢完的时候，然后我看到了签表，我又对到了贾德，然后我其实给自己定了一个目标，是想这一次战胜贾德，然后也如愿以偿吧，战胜他了。然后其实我觉得我没啥遗憾了，我就是感到很幸福吧，就是能在这样的环境、这样的赛场去打比赛，对。
So I wasn't setting up myself any kind of goal coming into this match, but in the last 16 match, I think I'm going to play Judd again, so I want to beat him this time. This will be my goal. So I got my revenge. I have done that. So playing in the final, so great, such a kind of big crowd, such a great scenario. So yeah, there's no regret for me.
Well, I think you've earned some huge, huge fans here in Essex. Please tell him everyone loved watching him.
谢谢，祝贺你，大家都很爱你。
Your runner-up, ladies and gentlemen, and the champion, back in the big time, back in the winner's circle for the first time in over 2 years. And what character in that frame there, Neal?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like it was nice to get in off a fluke. It was probably the only way I was actually going to pot a ball to actually get a chance. So, yeah, he completely froze me out. He played just, well, the best snooker I've ever seen in a 5 or 6 frame spell. I hardly did anything wrong at all. And, you know, he played some inspired stuff. Luckily, I've experienced that before in the past in finals, where I've had a big lead and I haven't really done much wrong to lose sort of 5 frames in a row. So I had to just sort of remember those moments that I came back from those as well. And, yeah, when I got the chance, the balls were nice and thankfully, you know, I was able to get it done because, you know, it wasn't looking good at one stage and you start sort of thinking potentially of runners-up speeches and how humble you're going to have to be after being 8-2 in front.
You've won just about everything in the sport, but bearing in mind it has been just over 2 years since you last lifted a title, the Tour Championship. How much does tonight mean to you?
Yeah, it means everything because, like, my dad's here and he's never even seen me play in a final before. So, you know, it's 20 years I've been pro and, you know, he's just sort of not been in the country when I've been doing well. And, you know, my mum's experienced sort of great moments with me in that. And, yeah, so this is like the first title I could actually win. You know, I've won like over 30 tournaments, but this is the first one I've been able to win with my dad here. And, yeah, that means the world to me. You know, everything that family means to me and my kids here and Miller as well. And also this is the first tournament that Joe and I have won together since we've been working together this season. So, yeah, it's a lot of sort of like firsts and hopefully there'll be many more.
And it really feels as though that friendship that you've got between you and the guidance he's been able to provide has helped you recapture your best form.
Yeah, although he almost knocked me out when I cheered Man City's equaliser earlier as an Arsenal fan. But no, the banter's really good. You know, with the football, he's passionate about football. I am as well, and we can just talk about other things apart from snooker. But after every match when we've been driving home, been analysing the matches, and you know, it's been brilliant to have him sort of alongside me, and that experience that he has as well.
Neal, many, many congratulations. You're a champion again. You're in the world's top 16 again. The winner, Neal Robertson. And please welcome Steve Dawson to make the presentations at the end of a sparkling week here in Brentwood. The runner-up receiving a cheque for £45,000 and the admiration of everybody in the arena this evening. Give it up for Yize.
Well, there's so many people here in Brentwood are going to be following this young man's career with great interest. What a performance he put up in those 5 frames in a row he won. Sensational.
He'll definitely be back for more. And now, the winner, receiving a cheque for £100,000, the trophy and the title, 2024 Bet Victor English Open champion. He's back, Neal Robertson.
Neal Robertson, a great snooker player, but he's also a son, a husband and a father. And how sweet to have his family here with him. I'm sure they never doubted him. I'm sure they kept the faith, and they can enjoy these moments.
Once again, your champion,
all the sweeter
Neal
for
Robertson.
how he was put under it by Yize. You can see there his children, Alexandra and Penelope. Have had a long night, but ultimately it's ended as they hoped it would. This is Neal Robertson 2.0, isn't it? It's the reset, it's the restart. Couple of years in the doldrums, but he is back where he belongs, with a trophy in his arms, his children with him as well, his dad here, first final, he's watched him live. It's going to be a great night, and you feel it's going to be a great season. He's back in the top 16, he'll be in all the tournaments you want to be in. There's his wife Miller as well. Lovely pictures, a great achievement from a great player, Neal Robertson, the English Open champion in 2024.
Incredible scenes here at the Brentwood Centre. What a final it's turned out to be, and he has held his nerve, Neal Robertson, and those moments, well, they're going to live long in the memory for all of the Robertson family, his wife Milla, daughter Penelope, great at the posing, and all the love, of course, son Alexander. But my gosh, how were they feeling, Alan McManus, during those last few frames? They've had to sweat it out tonight, haven't they?
I don't know how they were feeling, Rachel, but we were getting awful nervous backstage when we were watching this. What we thought was going to be a procession turned into one of the best finals I've seen in many a long year. And Yize was absolutely wonderful, wasn't he? I mean, we'll get to him, but this is all about Neal Robertson. His homecoming back into the top 16, his dad's there, the family are there. It was a fabulous final all told, and I think we just about had the correct winner. It was brilliant.
His dad Ian, for the first time ever, he's been able to witness these celebrations, this joy, Jimmy.
No, listen, absolutely fabulous. You know, he's been, you know, out of the top 16. He's now back in the top 16. Hasn't won a tournament for over 2 years, and we'll see. You know, we know how good he is. He showed tonight how brilliant he was. The damage was done the first 3 or 4 frames this afternoon. He's too far behind. You know, I didn't give him a prayer tonight, and then all of a sudden he looked like he was the better player and he was going to win.
Yeah.
But Neal, you know, okay, the balls were there at the end and he took them well, but, you know, what a player, what a match, fantastic.
0 chance is what he was given by you two.
Guilty, guilty.
He did give him a prayer, he did give him a chance at 8-4.
I was hoping, I was praying that we would see something special tonight. We have definitely witnessed that, and yes, the moment will belong to Neal Robertson. He's got the Steve Davis Trophy, but it's a final that will live long in the memory, and the performance from Yize tonight was just outstanding.
Well, me and Alan, like players and all fans, you know, he's such a great ball striker. You know, he makes the cue ball. You look like he hasn't hit it hard enough, but because he's gone through the cue ball, the white goes where it wants to. He's never the wrong side of the blue. You know, fabulous player, fabulous ball striker, and just shows under pressure he loves it.
It's well documented. I've been a fan of him, right, for a few years, but it just dawned on me tonight. We were backstage and I said to yourself, Rachel, he puts me, look, I know he's not in this class, not anywhere near it, but he reminds me of John Higgins. I witnessed John as a kid come of age very, very quickly at this level, and I thought, my goodness, we're seeing something incredibly special. Neal touched on it in his interview with Rob there. Neal was a bystander for 4 or 5 frames pretty much, and that takes something incredibly special. We have not seen the last of Wu Yize, not by a long shot. He's going to win these things.
I loved the comment in commentary from David Hendon. He went from a 2 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 this evening, and he's just loved this moment in the end. It could have been a disaster first ranking final for him. He's picking up his medal, and I think the photo's going to be great. The coolness of it. He's just in his element.
You know, and what Neal Robertson had on his side, experience, because he has done that where he's won 5 or 6 frames on the spin against opponents. So when that's happened there, Neal, there wasn't a lot he could do. The kid was sublime.
I honestly believe, Rachel, that these occasions, big finals, Wu Yize comes into a wonderful player, but you find out about yourself. He didn't know about himself tonight. He was capable of that, but he's done it. He's pushed one of the best players of all time all the way, and it was the way that he did it. As I said, Neal was a bystander, and he was coming back at him like a freight train, and frankly, there was nothing Neal could do about it.
Well, he looked a little bit floored at times, didn't he? Like he was hit by a truck, and why not? Because that was just some of the shots. I mean, we were just in awe backstage.
Well, he was just going about his business. There was no second thoughts. Look at this red. You know, he can only lose this red. Immediate attack, smash the balls open, you know, and goes on to win the frame in one visit. It was just fabulous stuff. You know, this one, you know, he got a bit lucky, got a fluke, and eventually, you know, the luck does turn around in this game, and Neal got a fluke in the end. But, you know, this was another fabulous long red. You know, there's a quote that he could have played safe there. We thought he'd have played the black there, me and Alan, but he potted the blue in the middle, and then another great shot. He does hit this a bit hard and gets another bit of luck, but, you know, fantastic match.
It was almost felt a bit spooky because even when they weren't going in, you know, they were going in with luck, and we saw those flukes, those outrageous flukes as well. It was just all a bit weird, wacky and wonderful.
It was, and that's what sport gives us. You know, we stood here at, 5 o'clock thinking it's going to peter out, it's not going to be a good fit. It turned into a classic. And Neal's just on the way in now.
He certainly is, and I can't wait to get his thoughts through the last few frames. I'll pop you here, Neal. Oh my.
Well done, mate.
Congratulations. Wow. I mean, for us, it was just incredible viewing. It really was. Just talk me through it, and if you can at all.
Well, I don't know. I haven't really recovered from that onslaught just yet. I didn't even feel I was being negative or doing anything wrong. I had no opportunities to be aggressive. He just kept slamming balls in from an inch off the cushion and making total clearances and centuries.
I would just love to ask Neal. We don't see. He's special, isn't he? That guy.
and
you don't see that.
And when I go back to it, when I said after I played him in the World Championship, he has something very special about him. And what he's added to his game now, he's actually very smart. He's got a really good. He put me in more safety than any other player, more trouble with his safety than any other player this week. And then he's obviously very aggressive when he gets in as well. So he's just got a wonderful all-round game. He's got a brilliant temperament about him. Never gives in. Even when I went 8-2 up, you know, there's other sort of players I've played, and you know, they look like they don't fancy it, or they're giving up. He still looked like he was not going to give in. So yeah, it was. I just had to try and think of all the positive thoughts going out there. He's reeling him back. You know, you do think, you know, he's got to start missing eventually. The problem was he started missing a couple, but they went in another pocket. So
it was all a bit spooky at times, wasn't it, with a couple of the flukes as well. But Jimmy, just a great performance all round from Wu Yize. But what Neal has managed to achieve early today, that is what has probably left him standing here with the trophy.
Yeah, well, you know, for me, with Neal Robertson, because he's done that to other players before, you know, won 5 frames on the spin. There was nothing Neal could have done about that. You know, he's seen it, he's had it done to himself, he's done it to other players. So he just had to sit and wait for his opportunity. The balls were nice in the end, you know, and he took them well. But the kid, you know, he's a fan of snooker as well as a player. You know, he hits the ball fantastic. He goes through the ball. You know, he makes the white looks like, you know, he's always the right side of the blue. You know, he was just fantastic tonight, and he made a great match of it. But the damage was already done this morning.
Indeed, very clinical first session, and that's key sometimes in these matches, these finals. But it certainly came to life. Going to show you the fluke. Your finally said, "I got one."
I know. I had to have a joke with the crowd there because he got away with a few as well in the last 4 frames, and then he had 2 absolute monster flukes as well that would have given me a great chance. And once I fluked the red, the funny thing is I was right behind this red, the one that I made contact with, and it just went straight in. I was just thinking, oh, please land on a colour. And then once I landed on the pink, I knew I was going to sort of get over the line because the balls were nice. And yeah, I mean, if anything, I probably had too much of a big lead going into tonight, you know, because then he's completely relaxed.
You couldn't see him coming back like that.
No, not really, no. But you know, stranger things have happened, and yeah, but no, I'm absolutely over the moon to win.
And not just you over the moon, I'm sure your dad Ian, and I think we're going to have a few visitors come in. Yes, Alexander to start with. How are you? Good. And we've got Penelope. Come on in. Come on. And Millet. Yep, we're all, that's all right. And Ian as well. Well done.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? This is the first time you've ever seen your boy win a trophy in this environment. How special?
I like just enjoy watching him win. I don't need to be here. So I'm just telling you how it is.
He's someone who just he would never sit in the audience ever. He's a players' lounge dad. There are players' lounge dads out there that just never want to watch in the arena.
We're studying the game.
Yeah,
studying a lot of things.
You're a really chilled out guy, I have to say.
Yeah,
just when you were about to pick up the trophy, and we saw the winner's speech and the loser's speech and all of that, you were just back. Just hanging on the wing there with a can of Coke.
It's a nice balance because I saw his brother win the World Championship a few years ago in the 8 balls, so it's good to see him win one as well.
It's been a long...
Me here, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a very long journey for Neal, obviously. Great success as an overseas player, and I don't think that every fan in snooker and every fan of sport knows just everything that he's sacrificed, you know, to move the other side of the world, to do what he's done.
Yeah, well, a lot have to do it for golf, you know, for a lot of other sports too. So, you know, you just put up with it.
He's a cool dude, Neal. Just put up with it. I think he said at one stage maybe go to the job centre when things weren't going well.
You can work in a factory counting nuts and bolts, or do this.
Yeah. And Milla, if I can get your thoughts as well. You've been on the road, massive journey. The two of you, Neal, obviously Alexander, Penelope. Great to share these moments with the kids now.
Yeah, I think it's been. I was just thinking that it's actually been a couple of years now since we were here last.
How many years did you age during this one? Because
not as bad. It's been worse.
You've come up 7-1, and then thinking, potentially like nice early night, and then all of a sudden, like, I'll put you through it once again.
Yeah, thanks, Neal. And you.
Listen, we were all on the edge of our seats. I don't know, Alexander. I know you were really enjoying it yesterday. How about today? Were you incredibly nervous for your dad?
When he had about 7-1 lead, I was like, oh, surely he's won, like, nice and easy, get to go home. But, I mean, we put on a great performance. Like, my heart just kept racing up and up by each frame. But I have to say, both players played absolutely amazing tonight. And, I hope to see it more.
He's could have a future in this. And Penelope, thumbs up.
Yes.
It's thumbs up all round for Neal Robertson, and what a wonderful family. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us, and of course plenty of quality snooker on the way here.